I made a video the other day about the VShojo situation with Iron Mouse, where it looked like they basically somehow managed to misplace $500,000 of charity money that Iron Mouse raised, and since then, a lot of stuff has come out of the woodwork. A lot of content creators, other talents have kind of come out and said that they haven't either been paid, or that these NDAs have now run out, and they're saying that they can now talk about the situation, and that even the NDAs themselves were really, really bad and manipulative, and getting them to like not talk to other talents and things like that. Absolutely insane. However, VShojo actually put out a statement a few hours ago, or I guess almost a day ago at this point. And there's a lot of new information that has come out since this, but I kind of just want to go over this information and watch a video about it from Legal Mindset about some law situations that VShojo might be dealing with in the near future. But Justin or Gunrun, the CEO, I think it is, of VShojo, or the main runner of VShojo, tweeted this out, saying, VShojo has failed and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. Basically sharing some accountability and responsibility, which I'll keep it a buck, doesn't really seem like that's the case here. They said over the past few years, they've raised about $11 million to pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing. Already kind of feels like a bold-faced lie at the end of the day, because if it was talent first, then the talent would be getting paid and they wouldn't be suffering as much as they're currently suffering. Prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to... I'm sorry, some of this seems laughable now. To achieve long-term sustainability, our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits. Again, we've now come to find out the splits weren't exactly generous, some being even 50-50, which is disastrous. Company standards is around about 15 to 75, or sometimes 20-80, sometimes even better splits, but this is definitely nowhere near industry standard. For things like debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. They basically say that they ran out of money eventually. They blew through $11 million US, and not only that, they say that they acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity. For example, Iron Mouse's charity event, which they later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. This is the biggest load of baloney bullshit you will ever read, by the way. This is not a I later learned. This guy on his personal account was actually retweeting the charity initiative as it was happening. Bro was stood there in person with the Tiltify logo in the background. It is not a situation where they later learned it was intended for a charitable initiative. They knew. And even if they didn't, let me continue. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs, and I firmly believed, based on information available to us, that we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts, so I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequence. No accountability here, I'm sorry. It's a very broad blanket statement with big corpo language here to make yourself look like the big guy. At the end of the day, if you were talent first, you wouldn't be stealing this money from creators. The creators earned money through VShojo, and they were not paid for it. Iron Mouse raised $500,000 US for the IDF, which... IDF, Immune Deficiency Foundation, or Immunodeficiency Foundation, not the other IDF, Jesus Christ. It's just a bad situation overall, okay? This is fucking disgusting. Terrible. This guy is basically, from what we can see from the outside perspective here, it looks like it's just embezzled funds, right? This money that was raised by the talents has been taken to fund the company and fund other things because they couldn't raise enough money to keep the company running itself. $11 million from the get-go, by the way. So Legal Mindset here has released a video saying VShojo just confessed to crime. Fast facts. So let me take a look into this and we'll see what it's all about.
Has just confessed to a crime, specifically fraud related to the Immune Deficiency Foundation, Iron Mouse's charity that she has been championing for a very, very long time.
Yep.
And we have a statement from the CEO, which just blatantly confesses to it and shows not just that fraud, but also...
Yeah, listen... Gunrun here, he cannot have got legal to look over this document. He can. I've seen rumors that their legal person hasn't actually been actively practicing law for like years at this point and doesn't even have a valid law license. I don't know how much that holds up and how true it is, but clearly nobody has looked over this statement.
Wild mismanagement of company funds for a significant period of time. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire. This is a legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge, and this is a fast.
This is my first ever legal mindset video, by the way. I know he's made videos on things like the Hassan situation on Twitch and stuff, but I was never really a part of that, so curious what this guy has to say.
Max Premiere giving you the short, quick summary version of what's going on today.
Nice.
Now, they are in, VShojo is in massive hot water, and I told you guys days ago that this was going to lead to insolvency. This was going to lead down the road to
bankruptcy. They haven't actually filed for bankruptcy yet. The company is still ongoing, even though all of the talent have been let go at this point. Like this agency is still technically a thing, I'm pretty sure, but they just don't have any representative talents now. They're just gone.
And we have today a confirmation, and I was entirely right. They are going to go absolutely bank, right? It's done. They're in the red. They've got mass amounts of debt. They're not profitable. They weren't profitable even with everybody there. There's no way to get back to profitability. Nope. They are done. And this has more severe consequences than just losing your Twitch emojis.
Oh, I did see this. This has only happened a few times in the past. I think with the PogChamp guy, because he did some political stuff. I actually don't know the whole situation about that. But Twitch has officially removed the Gunrun global emote from Twitch, which for a lot of people is a big deal. For me, it just shows Twitch is kind of behind the whole thing, like in a good way, which is... listen, Twitch needs a W over the past couple of months because holy fuck, that platform is running itself into the ground at this point and making bad decision after bad decision. So this, whether it's a publicity stunt or not, it's a good thing that they're removing the emote.
Which happened today on Twitch. The Gunrun global emote is gone. But they have a lot bigger problems than losing cute emotes. So we're going to look at the statement by the Gunrun.
I want to know if the talent are just going to get paid. I want to know if they're going to get their money.
And why this statement is absolutely insane, why it's a confession, and also why it doesn't get anybody out of personal liability, why they're still going to be held liable regardless of this statement. This statement doesn't move the yard line, doesn't shift anything really that far because this statement is only a confession and does not remove any liability of him as CEO or even personal liability, which is very, very clear in this when you look at the factual situation. So let's...
It is. It seemed pretty clear to me. I didn't want to say anything, obviously. There's no defamation here at the end of the day because this is literally based on a statement from the guy himself, and we can only derive the information from... We can only derive information from what is literally in front of our faces, which is what other talent is saying and what the guy himself is putting out for everybody to read, right?
Read through the statement very, very carefully, and then I'm going to analyze it after we go through it. So here's a statement from VShojo. This is on their X account, so you can go over and read that yourself. And you know, this is obviously unedited, etc. So I'm going to read this.
Okay. So we just read this, so we're going to skip over the reading part at the very least and see what he has to say about it, which is probably going to be right about here.
And right the ship these past few months. I'm going to stop there as well. Months? No. This thing...
Okay, never mind. He actually does go over it. Let me go back so we can actually listen to what he has to say.
And, you know, this is obviously unedited, etc. So I'm going to read this. VShojo has failed, and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing.
It's an admission.
So today I am sharing the difficult news that VShojo is shutting down. And I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise. Now, I'm going to pause there with fundraise. When he says fundraise, a lot of people may think that's a bake sale or this is some sort of selling cookies or whatever else. No. This is begging for money.
This is asking for money, probably investments as well. If I'm thinking around the right big corpo lines here, right?
He's talking about loans. So fundraising, he is talking about loans. He's talking about trying to borrow to keep the company going. Let's be very clear.
Okay, so it's mainly loans, not even like people getting equity in VShojo as a result. It's just loans.
About that,
probably, right?
So. and right the ship these past few months. I'm going to stop there as well. Months? No. This thing has been having a problem for over a year. This is a thing that is, they've been in financial hot waters for a very long time. This is not...
Yeah, I see a lot of the talents are saying they haven't even been paid in over a year.
Not something that happened yesterday. It's not something that happened last month. It's been going on for a significant period of time.
Yes.
But despite my efforts, we're in a worse position. And those I care about now are paying the price. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue.
I need people to realize just how much goddamn money $11 million is, and just how difficult. At least, listen, I run this company. I run Brand Online, my own business, right? And I cannot imagine absolutely blowing through $11 million when you have some of the biggest VTubers in the world, as a part of your agency, bro. I get it. Advertising is expensive. And I heard that they did some dumbass marketing ploys with VShojo where they paid something like, what was it, $250,000 per pillar that they put some promos on for Subway or something. And I don't even know how many pillars that was. But even if it's just 4, bro, that's already like what? Nearly 10% of the entire fucking funding that they raised. Like... $11 million, dude.
Pursue a bold, talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. I can't even imagine how he wrote that with a straight face.
I didn't pre-watch, but at least this guy knows what he's talking about, bro. This is fucking ridiculous.
Given what's happening right now.
Fucking ridiculous.
I cannot believe he sat out and wrote that. Oh, this is what we wanted to do. This is what we're doing. No, you completely and utterly failed on that consistently over the long term. Over the long term, you abused and gaslit your talent.
Yep.
Over the long term into non-sustainability. You spent your money on wild advertising in Shibuya and everywhere else, just going out and trying to promote and advertise, spending money you didn't have.
Well, they had it. They had the 11 million at least, and they blew through it and then started. From what I can see, and I'm not saying this is the case, okay, but what it looks like from a very much an outside perspective, it looks like they blew through that $11 million and then started using the money that creators were actually earning to then fund VShojo instead of paying the creators what they were owed. It looks like they were using not only the percentage that they were getting from those deals, but also the creators' cuts of those deals to keep this company afloat by just letting the creators pay the price.
To try to push these talents in places that wouldn't help them. You weren't giving them what they needed. What they needed was a paycheck, the gun run, not some weird station advertising.
Exactly.
Okay, let's continue here. Our funding went directly to creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. No, that didn't actually happen.
No.
We also wanted our talent to own the IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach for an agency. Now, that did happen. To credit where credit is due, the talents do own the IP. I've read the contract. That's true.
Yeah, which is a very good thing, by the way. This is one of the many things that, well, one of the few things, I should say, that came out of this. And it's like, for VShojo specifically, we know of a lot of VTuber agencies at this point, right? And one of the big things that you will consistently see with these big corpo VTuber agencies is that as one of the costs of joining one of these agencies is that the IP of your VTuber is owned by that agency, which is why you'll see a lot of people graduate when they get kicked out or leave of their own accord an agency and they have to start over, right? Which I think already is quite predatory. I'm not going to lie. It feels predatory to me, but it's also a cost of getting that instant kind of blow up, an instant audience and stuff. You skip a lot of the beginning growing pains and growing stages to instantly get to that point. And that is one of the costs of that. VShojo didn't have that. So like Iron Mouse, for example, she's now an indie VTuber, but she gets to keep Iron Mouse. She is Iron Mouse. They do not own her.
However, despite all of our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and we ran out of money. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money... Now, here we go. Here's the confession.
Yeah, it is. I'd also love to know when they run out of money. When did they run out of the $11 million?
Some I acknowledge, so I am saying this happened. Some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity. So he is confessing to the fact that they diverted funds which were intended to pay their talents, and they're calling them talents, by the way, because if they call them employees, they'll be screwed under labor law.
Yep.
They're using the language specifically talent because they know that they're trying to frame talents, independent contractor. We're going to get out of that.
Which, if they are independent contractors and the company goes bankrupt, I'm hoping this guy explains it actually. I don't know if VShojo would actually have a legal liability to pay them what they're owed.
So they owed money to the talents and they spent it.
Yep.
They misallocated it.
Yes.
And then he goes on to say,
if that's the
some
case.
of the money spent by the company, so saying it was spent by the company, right? Misallocated, was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned, keyword, he put in later
Bullshit.
learned.
Bullshit.
The words later learned are him trying to get off the hook personally.
Yep.
He says, I later learned
He was there in person at the fucking event, bro.
intended for a charitable initiative. He is trying, what he's trying to do here is say, oh, I didn't have personal knowledge of where the money was going in my company. You know, dollars come in, dollars go out. I don't know anything that's going on. I had
so
no
scummy.
idea, no knowledge that this money should have gone to a charitable initiative. We just got a massive amount of money.
Yeah.
We just got $500,000. And it just slipped through the cracks. That's like a couple pennies
Shelly, it's just investor funds.
just falling in the couch. In no world does this hold up.
No.
Under any sort of investigation.
There is literal evidence of him literally retweeting the charity event that I Am Mouse was doing, supporting it while it was going on. And I think I've seen an image of him with the Tiltify thing in the background and like I Am Mouse on an iPad for the event. Am I incorrect for that?
Even the most cursory investigation, you need to know where $500,000 goes.
Yeah.
This is not 250. It's not tree fitty.
This is
This is
$500K, bro.
$500,000 that just poof went somewhere. And as the CEO, you certainly have the responsibility to understand the major financial operations of your company.
Yeah.
And yes, there's other officers that are on the line here. I know I can hear Tectone in the background skipping up. It's not just a gun run. Yes, okay, chill, Tectone, chill, bro. we all respect you, but you know, you got to calm down. Of course, there's other people that manage the finances. There's other officers. There's the CFO that quit. There's a management officer that quit. There's other officers that have left. We talked about the officer that left 2 months ago, and he just
probably not off the hook as well, I would hope, right?
posted, he tagged Gun Run. He's like, bro, what's going on? No, bro. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro. Leaving 2 months ago doesn't get you off the hook. This thing has been going on for a while, at least in terms of the people not being paid, and also in terms of the charity misallocation. This is something that was done in the past. So if you were there as an officer 2 months ago and you quit, you're not necessarily off the hook. When the investigation looks at this and they get into the emails, they get into the documents, they get into, okay, what happened here? There at some point is going to be revealed a number of people, not just the gun run, but definitely including the gun run, that were involved in taking those funds and putting them other places. There were discussions.
I wonder where they were going. I do wonder if it is just a situation of they were using the talent money that they'd earned, whether for charity or themselves, and just like putting it straight back into company promotions and stuff and marketing. Or if it was getting pocketed or something even more sinister. I do wonder when all this is going to come out.
That were had. So, and even if they were had in person, someone's going to crack, someone's going to break.
Yep.
No one wants to go to federal prison. This is wire fraud. This is misallocation of funds. This is violation of various other state and federal laws. This is no good, right? And assuming, once again, on the face that all the facts we have are true, which I have no reason to believe because they've confessed this now.
Exactly. It's literally coming from the horse's mouth, right?
They've said, no, we actually misallocated the funds. There's no further proof needed other than getting into who's liable. And if we can pierce the corporate veil, that means holding individual officers, individual employees responsible personally for these misdeeds. Yes, we need more investigation as to piercing the veil as to certain people and certain individuals, etc.
Absolutely.
And I do think there's a strong possibility that may happen. And I indeed hope that happens for some of these people.
We'll see, dude. I don't know. I've seen so much come out over the past couple of days. This is still such raw information, such new information. I've seen a lot come out from other talents over the past few days that just makes everything about VShojo seem so scumbag, dude. And I don't know if it's just Gunrun or if it's multiple other people or if it's just the way VShojo was actually ran in the first place. But, I mean, IML's tweeted out herself. They broke her fucking heart, man. She doesn't deserve this shit. She does not. And the other talents don't either. It's so disgusting. So disgusting how they went from literally hero to zero overnight. Quite literally, by the way, overnight, they lost all of their talent.
Trying to sink their head in the sand and say, oh, I later learned. No, bro. And let's show the proof here, too.
Thank you. Okay, let's take a look at this.
The
gun
run
I was talking about earlier.
He knew at the time. Here is literally the gun run saying, you did it, Mouse, October 1st, 2024.
You fucking lying piece of literal shit. Jesus fucking Christ. How low can you get? How
October
low can
1st,
you get?
2024 saying, you did it, Mouse. And really, the only thing that he needs to know is the feds will be looking at this post.
100%. So deleted it, won't do shit either.
That's all he needs to know. Live tweeting during a Fast Facts. But yes, no, that's all we need to know is that statement is there. We've got pictures of him with Mouse fundraising. So we see this guy out there fundraising. We know he knew at the time, afterwards, before. He knew at all points of this.
So gross,
He knew what was going on. He was not an ostrich with his head in the sand. He knew what was going on. Let's finish the statement here.
I did also see there was an image. It might have been photoshopped, actually, but we can probably find it soon, where he was literally stood there with the Tiltify shit in the background, like a red carpet event or something, with Iron Mouse's avatar next to him on a iPad screen. Maybe it was doctored, maybe it was real. I don't know. I'll try and find it before the end of the video.
Let's finish the statement.
But either way, he clearly knew.
At the time, we were working hard to raise additional capital to cover our costs, and I firmly believed, based on information available, we would be able to do so and cover all expenses. What that means is they were trying to get a loan. They used the money they didn't have, right? They misallocated the charity money, right, to try to pay current expenses because they thought they could get another loan. They were already in debt. They were already $2 million in debt, and they couldn't do it. And it says right here, we were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences.
I wonder why.
I am deeply sorry. So right there, that last one too, guys, that last one is very true. I made the decision to pursue funding. What that means is he made the decision to not pay the talent and to keep the ship going a little longer. So instead of paying the talent...
This is where I'm reminded multiple times every fucking month at this point, bro. Communication is so goddamn important. Communication is very important, especially as a fucking CEO of an agency like this that not only manages multiple employees, but also talents, right? When I say employees, I'm talking about the people underneath Gunrun that are actually part of the company VShojo, not just the talents that are part of VShojo. There was zero information given to the talents here, maybe the employees, I have no idea, but it's just so fucking disgusting.
Even if that meant they would have had to close down. Instead of doing what was right and just, he decided to push it down the line. He knowingly did this, guys. He knowingly did this.
Yep.
This guy, and look, this is, I rarely go off, I try to stay legal and objective here, but morally, this is a horrible decision.
It is.
I mean, and I think this is something that's pretty non-controversial, right? If you see that you're failing,
this should not divide anybody. I firmly believe people should not be on this guy's side. Like, dead ass. There is nothing to defend.
Debt. You're not doing well, right? You have to, at some points, be realistic. Be adults. An adult has to come in the room and say, we need to cut this and we need to do what's right. We need to pay people out. And look, I'm sure if they talked to the talent and said, hey, we're not doing well, right? We're not doing well. We need to pay the employees, right? And hey, maybe everybody across the board, including employees, we're all going to take, including the CEO, we're all going to take a haircut. Everybody at the business has to take a 25% haircut across the board because we're hurting, right? And we're all going to be in this as a team. Okay, whatever. You could have had that conversation. You could have done something.
We'll never know how that would have gone because they cannot fucking communicate like grown adults.
But they decided not to do that. They decided to benefit certain people at the expense of others.
Yeah.
It's absolutely deplorable behavior and potentially criminal. Finishing up here.
I don't know about criminal. I ain't a lawyer, bro.
I'm deeply sorry to all the talent, staff, friends, and community members who believe in our brand. You did not deserve this. No, and the Immune Deficiency Foundation didn't deserve this either.
No, they didn't. Right? And I really fucking hope that they get their money along with the talents. I want a statement about that. I want a statement that's gonna say how they plan to actually pay these people what they're owed, especially the $500,000 fucking dollars from a charity organization.
And
that directly should have been from Iron Mouse. But the reason that she was raising funds for that charity was because it's a charity that actually helps out people in similar situations to her, right? They've helped her out in the past, I think, which whether through research or other things, she wants to give back to that charity. She wants to make sure other people that are in similar positions don't have to, maybe in the future, hopefully don't have to go through all of the shit that people currently have to go through, which I think is a very, very tremendous thing to do. And again, like Legal Mindset said here, Andrew Esquire, it's fucking deplorable that they would quite literally steal money from this charity. The money was raised. The money was for them. They did not receive the money. It was taken by VShojo.
Certainly what this deserves and what this will get is criminal investigation into exactly how this went down, who made those decisions, and how that funding exactly got misallocated. So that is going to be happening absolutely for sure. I'm going to be covering this as it gets more serious, as it gets investigated.
And I will be keeping up to date with that. A lot of people might be like, whoa, why is Brand talking about this? This has nothing to do with him. You're right, it's not. It's not anything to do with me. But when it affects a part of the industry that I am in, and I feel like people are being mistreated and misjudged and mischaracterized and just treated in such a way that is, as he's saying, quite possibly incredibly fucking illegal, this could have ramifications across the entire industry. Whether it's a VTuber or a fucking flesh tuber, whatever you want to call people that don't use VTuber avatars, or faceless people, anyone, content creators, talent, in general. People should get paid for what they do. People should not be getting scumbag, fucking absolutely deplorable contracts, NDAs preventing them from talking to colleagues and other people and preventing them from talking about the true facts of what is happening at companies. Disgusting. Absolutely fucking gross.
And I will catch you on the next one.
It's just absolutely unbearably bad to even think that this is happening in the industry. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I think most of us, if not everybody, is on the side of the VTubers here, or the talent in general. Fuck Big Corpa. Fuck VShojo.